I'm Macy Eglund. The jury will resume deliberating today in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. They reached a verdict on 4 counts, but could not decide on the top charge of racketeering conspiracy. That carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. A Lawrence home damaged when it caught fire after being struck by lightning. Police say it happened last night while a family was having dinner on Juniper Circle North. No one was hurt. 2 days away from the 4th of July, and the potential dangers of illegal fireworks will be on display in Nassau. Officials will also talk about the county's free TD Bank Celebrate America fireworks show tomorrow at Eisenhower Park. A new focus on keeping kids safe in the water. It was the discussion at Stony Brook University Hospital.
We know that drowning is entirely preventable, and it requires multiple layers of protection.
Experts also reviewed a state bill that would require schools to provide water safety information to parents. A deal has been reached between Memorial Sloan Kettering and United Healthcare. Cancer patients with employer-provided plans will continue to receive in-network care. Only in Newsday, many Long Islanders could benefit from the higher SALT cap. A bill passed by the Senate raises the limit on state and local tax deductions from $10,000 to $40,000. Only those earning $500,000 or less would be able to take full advantage. A new toll takes effect this weekend. Beginning Sunday, drivers without a mounted Easy Pass could end up paying more than $4 in additional tolls for using Port Authority bridges and tunnels. Let's talk about your Wednesday weather now. You might need an umbrella this morning. A wet and cloudy start to the day. Let's take a look outside. A little gray here at Shinnecock Fishing Dock in Hampton Bays. Yeah, just kind of a gray Wednesday. Unfortunately, those clouds will continue throughout the day. It's warm, it's muggy, highs in the low 80s across the island. Tomorrow, though, we're dry during the day. We could see some clouds, possibly some rain for your commute home from work. We'll keep an eye on that. That forecast is changing here and there. Friday kicks off the 4th of July weekend. The weather looks great. Look at that, sunny and warm. Saturday, Sunday, beautiful. The start of next week looks good, but Tuesday, we've got that chance for rain again.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Sun Nation Energy, helping Long Island homes and businesses save with solar for over 20 years.
Many of us are excited for the 4th of July, but some of our pets may not be. In fact, research finds more pets go missing during the holiday than any other time during the year. So, how can we keep our pets safe and still enjoy the holiday ourselves? Joining us now is Mike Spiata, Director of Shelter Operations at North Shore Animal League America. And Mike, what are some best tips for keeping pets calm during the holiday?
Thanks so much for having us. Yeah, it's really a difficult time of year for pets because, well, we really enjoy, as you were just saying, the holiday. They don't really enjoy it quite so much. One of the big things, first and foremost, especially I would say in the days leading up to the 4th of July and especially this year following, because it falls on a Friday, is to make sure that we set up a space in our home, whether you have a cat or a dog, that's a calm space for that animal. That doesn't necessarily mean a quiet space, because a lot of times people might equate calm to quiet. We actually want to create some sort of calming environment with some sort of ambient noise that will actually help drown out any noise from outside, like fireworks. And I would suggest, if you can, to spend time in that space with them. And if you have an animal, a pet, that is especially traumatized by fireworks, loud noises, things like that, is to consider even potentially contacting a vet in advance to see if it's something that maybe they should consider having medication that's prescribed for them done.
Now, what should people do if their pet does get lost?
The first thing they should do is contact their local shelter, the local authorities. So the police precinct in your area is the first place I would contact. If your dog or cat is microchipped, which would be a great thing if your animal is, because they can then be scanned for that, and make sure that microchip, if your dog or cat has one, is actually registered and their registration is up to date and it has your correct information on it, because in the event your animal does go missing and they wind up at a shelter or a police precinct or a vet's office, the first thing they're going to do is usually break out a microchip scanner and scan your pet to see if they have a microchip. And if they do, and that information is up to date, they can get right back in touch with you and let you know that they've found your pet.
Now, what else can be dangerous to pets surrounding this holiday that owners should look out for?
So a lot of times, obviously, this time of year, we have big get-togethers with family and friends. One of the biggest things that people need to keep in mind is that at these gatherings, it might not always be best to have your four-legged friend accompany you, whether it be to someone else's house or even at your own house, and to try to keep your pet confined and away from guests. As much as we might want to have our pets interact with our friends and family, this time of year, there could be alcohol, there could be food that would be unsafe for an animal to consume. A lot of times, people aren't paying attention. As much as we love our friends and family, they might not be thinking about our pet.
Thank you, Mike Spiata, Director of Shelter Operations at Animal League America. Thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you so much.
Some helpful tips. You can read more about the story on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
It's the summer of 1776. The fire of the Revolution is ignited, and the British tall ships of war arrive on Long Island. Fishermen and farmers take up arms to fight for their life and their liberty. The Battle of Long Island is fought in Brooklyn. The British victorious, the Patriots with casualties retreat, and the island becomes the breadbasket for the British. Long Islanders are held captive, and for some, their only choice to serve their captors, but for others, espionage. General George Washington knew the war could be won by outwitting the King's army, and Long Island was the prime place to send a spy. And he called upon Colonel Benjamin Talmadge of Setauket.
Benjamin Talmadge, when he became head of intelligence under General Washington, he said, we don't want single mission spies. They stand out like sore thumbs. We need a network. We need a ring of people who know and trust each other.
Called the Culper spy ring.
So he recruited his childhood friends, Abraham Woodhull and Caleb Brewster, from his hometown in Setauket.
It was an elaborate plot. Woodhull would hand off the most recent intel to Brewster, who rode across Long Island Sound to Connecticut, where Talmadge was stationed. There was Austin Rowe, who rode on horseback back and forth from Setauket, carrying secret messages of British troop movements in New York City from Robert Townsend of Oyster Bay.
I think that most Long Islanders would be very surprised to hear that our little hometown played such an integral role in turning the tide of the Revolutionary War.
And this legacy has been preserved by Tri-Spy Tours in Setauket.
People really get to paddle through history. The community is our museum, and everywhere you turn there's an artifact. And the big thing I always like people to walk away with is that the members of the Culper Spy Ring were ordinary people, but they were ardent patriots and they believed in the cause.
Pretty interesting. You can see more exclusive stories like that on Newsday.com. Click Get More below that Newsday TV video box. Stay up to date and see more on all of these stories on Newsday.com, and watch us streaming anytime on Local Now, YouTube, and all of the other services you see here. I'm Macy Eglund. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.